So you've already crushed your strength, conditioning, balance, and power tests, but you still feel like you're 60, and that's what most people miss. It's your mobility that's holding you back. So today I'm gonna walk you through a 10-minute assessment that you can do with me right now. 5 exercises. We'll go over the problem areas and then how to fix those problem areas. Go grab your broomstick or dowel. Scoring is simple, 0 through 3. We'll guide you through that as we go. Let's get started. All right, our first test is gonna be that overhead squat test, kind of the gold standard here for full body. It's gonna check those ankles, knees, hips, your T-spine, thoracic spine, your shoulder mobility. It's gonna get a little bit of everything. We're gonna start with that dowel with the hands wide enough that it sits right about at your waistline. We're gonna bring that dowel up, get our feet set about hip width apart, and we're gonna go down into that deep squat and come back up. Now, if you have issues with this, it's not strength, it is going to be mobility. What we're focusing in on here is, number one, are our heels popping up off the ground as we go down? Might be some ankle mobility issues. As we go down, if we shift this direction, could be some shoulder tightness as well as ankle issues because we're not able to get in that dorsiflexion position, right? If those arms fall forward constantly, T-spine extension and shoulder mobility there as well. So there's gonna be a lot of different things we're looking at. Let's make sure we're queuing this up properly. Arms overhead, feet hip width apart, all the way down, all the way up, keeping that arm in line with the ear. Now make sure you're not chasing depth by collapsing positions. We need to earn that mobility. Do it the correct way and slowly you'll be able to sink in deeper and deeper. Now these are not gonna be all encompassing, but we'll give you a couple quick drills that are gonna help aim for a couple of these different areas that can help build some of that mobility, improve this test. We're gonna start with the foot about 6 inches from the wall. The goal is to keep your heel down, drive that knee to the wall. If you can get there, you can back your heel up a little, or your foot up a little further. Still trying to get that knee to the wall, shifting that knee over different toes, big toe, little toe, middle toes, to try to get that ankle dorsiflexion. Now here we're trying to keep our heels down on the ground as best we can while letting that knee shift over the toe, help build out some of that ankle dorsiflexion. The weight's gonna help drive that knee over the toe to get that mobility up a little bit. Now to build out some of that thoracic mobility, hips on the ground, pelvic tilted so our abs are engaged. Just a nice easy arch over the foam roller, keeping that core engaged so that the movement comes from your T-spine and we start to create some extension. Another thoracic extension favorite of mine, elbows are pinned up against that bench. We're gonna sit back into our heels and let that dumbbell kind of create a load to push our chest to the floor, stretch those triceps, sink that chest into the floor so we can get a little bit of that T-spine extension again, and just kind of pulse for 3 to 5 seconds of sinking down to the floor. And lastly, we'll kind of try to open up that shoulder a little bit. You can go with a lat stretch here. So if you want to put the foot behind so you get a little hip mobility as well through the hip, but reaching that arm up nice and straight, leaning away, really going to feel a nice stretch through your lat. Obviously the chest is part of that as well. They both internally rotate that shoulder. So a nice 90-90 chest stretch. Both those are going to help you open up that shoulder, get into that overhead position with that thoracic extension, that ankle mobility. We'll be able to sit a little bit deeper, a little bit better. All right, now that we've showed a little mobility on 2 legs, let's transition over into 1 leg. Mobility doesn't mean much if you can't control it through motion. What we're gonna test next is a reverse lunge, knee taps the ground, up into balance. All the things that you might lose first as you age, but are gonna bring all this together. So what we're looking for with a good rep is a controlled step back. Knee is tracking forward, right over that foot. Back knee needs to touch the ground. Obviously we don't wanna, if we're limited in range of motion, obviously that's gonna cause us to lose some points here, but trying to get all the way down, chest stays vertical. We don't fall forward as we go back into that lunge. As we stand up, we need to hold balance, a light little reach at the top, and then back down. Now if you lose your balance, obviously we lose some points as well, but it should look like a nice step back, step up, hold balance, reach, and then back into that next rep. And a quick front view so you can see how that ankle, knee, and hip are stacking up. If you wobbled, lost your balance, don't worry, it's fixable. Check out these exercises to help build some of that stability, increase those motor patterns. Our first will be this banded glute bridge march. If you don't have a band, that is okay. Feet should be about hip width apart. We're gonna bridge up to create hip extension, and then we're just gonna march. Nice and easy here, trying to reduce our hip sway, those hips shifting side to side,
as we take those steps.
Next, we'll go into a split squat iso. So the knee is tracking over feet like we had been before. Allows us to get that nice deep range of motion, keep those hips squared, keeps the weight in that front leg, and helps build some strength and stability through the hip and through the quad muscles. Lastly, we'll do a single leg RDL with a reach. Obviously, what we're focusing on here is some balance. We're gonna get that reach. We're gonna keep our hips squared up so one hip doesn't pop up, rise higher than the other. Build some hip stability, build some balance. Make sure we're working on that hip hinge. All right, we've tested those hips. Let's see if those shoulders stack up as well. The shoulder's a tricky one. It takes strength and freedom of those scaps. I am not the best to demonstrate this one because I have a little bit of a shoulder injury I'm working out. But as you can see, very limited on both sides. I need to work on this pretty significantly. But you need strength, you need mobility. If you've ever felt like you have tight pecs, it's painful to go overhead, their lats are always tight. This one's for you. As you're doing this, make sure you're looking for rib flare as well. As you reach behind, you shouldn't get a big arch. We want to stay nice and compact. Make sure that motion is coming from those scaps as much as possible. And with this one, you are looking for left and right differences. One arm will most likely be a little bit more mobile than the other. Make sure you're scoring the weaker arm just to kind of keep it fair across the board. Now, as you're evaluating this one, if the bottom hand can't reach up, probably tight pecs, probably tight lats. If the top hand can't really get down very far, check out your triceps and your T-spine extension. Those are going to be the main indicators of which arm needs some of the extra love, and then check out some of these exercises to help fix those problems. We'll start with some floor or wall angels. I like to go floor because we make sure that low back stays tight to the ground. We get that pelvic tilt, so we're squeezing our glutes, squeezing our abs, everything's engaged. Shoulder blades are on the mat as well. And nice and easily maintaining those positions. We're gonna come up as high as we can and as low as we can, doing that angel motion. Now again, don't force range of motions that's not there through your torso. If the shoulders are getting a nice little stretch at the top here, like I am, hold it, feel that stretch, and then continue to go through your range of motion. And then our next one will actually just invert that. So now we'll get on our stomach. We'll kind of keep our rib cage down, so engage that core, engage those glutes. And we'll do those angels now from our face down position to help build out our low traps, our serratus, and build some of that stability through that mid-back. We've already discussed some lat stretches, some pec stretches, so make sure you're doing those as well. For the sake of this specific exercise drill, we'll do some shoulder dislocations to work some end range of motion. So again, we're kind of getting that overhead squat position. The bar should sit right on your waistline. And then we're gonna go all the way up and around, and then all the way up and around. Just nice and easy here. If this is painful, you can go with a wider grip, or you could do it with a band. Same idea here is make sure we're keeping that rib cage down, those glutes tight, so that we're going through a good range of motion without getting rib flare. All right, now that we got those shoulders moving, let's see how your hips and your spine, your core are coordinating together in that hinge. This is your hip hinge, the foundation for a long, healthy life. Picking things up off the floor, running. We want to make sure that we're focused in on the movement pattern. We're not necessarily testing flexibility here. We're testing how your hamstrings, your hips, your low back are all functioning together. Doing this, if your back rounds first, you're not in control. Make sure this is a hip hinge where your spine stays flat. You will have a slight bend in those knees. That is fine. Small bend in those knees. We want to make sure our core is engaged and that spine is staying nice and flat as we make that hinge. All right, remember, goal here is to get palms to floor. I'm not close in the video here, and that's okay. Fingertips to toes will get you that 2. Only to the shins or that rounded spine is going to get you a 1. Any pain, we're obviously at a 0. Based on testing, we may need to restore the hinge. We may need to work out some of the tight neural patterns that you might have in those legs. So check out these exercises. Let's regrain that pattern, and let's see if we can loosen you up just a little bit. First drill, simple hip hinge to a wall here. What we want to do is be 6 to 9 inches in front of the wall. We're going to soften those knees again, keep that core nice and engaged. We're going to push our hips back, make sure we touch the wall, and then squeeze our butt to stand back up. The whole point here is to make sure we're reaching those hips back, feeling that hip hinge, and then coming back forward. Next, we'll need that dowel again. We are going to train that proper position. So we want 3 points of contact here. We want the back of the head. We want that T-spine, and then we want pretty much right where your hips are. So engage that core, make sure we're maintaining those points of contact. As we do that proper hinging pattern, just like we did to the wall, stand back up, helping you learn how to hold that proper neutral spine. Then we'll jump into a banded hamstring mobilization. We got the band hooked up to the rack here. We want to get it way up into that hip crease. Step forward. The leg with the band will be behind you, leg in front for balance. Get that leg to have that slight bend. We're going to do that hip hinge. And this is going to help pull, the band's going to help pull that capsule back, create some space, help us get a really nice stretch. And here again, you can kind of do some light pulses, try to sink deeper into that stretch with every single rep. And then lastly, for this section, we'll do some neural flossing. So our goal here is to help loosen up some of the some of those neural patterns. This one, we're gonna start, I'm a little low here. Make sure you find something that's up high that your feet can dangle off of. My feet are just touching the ground. We're gonna start real simply. We wanna start with our hands behind our back, down nice and low. We're gonna sit up tall, and we're gonna pull our toe back towards us as we sit up. So sit up tall, pull that toe back towards you. Don't lean back, sit up tall, pull that toe back towards you. You're gonna do 10 per leg. Then hands up high. We're gonna tuck our chin, we're gonna come down low, and we're still gonna pull that toe towards us. This one's a little bit more aggressive, so be ready for it. The first one kind of loosens us up. This one's more aggressive. Again, pull that toe back, tuck that chin, try to get as low as you can. My leg is shaking. You're going to feel a little bit of that signaling behind your knee, maybe up into your hip. 10 per leg there, and then we'll go back, hands behind, sit up tall, pull that toe back. When you're done with this one, you get back into that hip hinge. I would bet, and I'd be willing to put a little money on, you're able to get a little bit lower. You've made it this far. One more test here to finish up the 5. We're going to test the core and the hips and how they integrate together through our active straight leg raise. So this is the active straight leg raise. It looks simple. We really need to keep that low back sucked in tight to the ground. We need to tuck our tailbone so that we're squeezing our glutes. Both legs are going to be straight. We're going to keep one leg pinned on the ground, arms out to our sides. We're going to bring this leg, squeezing our quad as hard as we can, up as high as we can without anything changing. If we get that back to arch, if our hips pop, our hips swivel, we've gone too far. This is not my best test, so I'm going to get a poor score here, but let's keep ourselves nice and tight. We're going to bring that leg up as high as possible. That's as far as I'm going to get, and you bring it back down nice and easy. Now, if one leg's tighter, that asymmetry shows up in your squat, your stride, or even how you sleep. When the pelvis rocks, it's not a flexibility issue, it's a control issue. And if both sides feel locked, your hamstrings or hip capsule are the first to work on some of those stretches. Unlocking this is simple. You just need to link mobility with control. Let's check out these exercises. All right, for these fixes, we're going to focus a little bit more on our core stability and a little bit of that hamstring flexibility. So for this one leg is bent at 90 degrees, foot is flat on the ground, other leg is going to be nice and straight. We're going to get that core nice and tight, sucked into the ground. We're going to lightly bring it up until we feel that stretch. We're going to hold it for 5 to 10 seconds. We're going to come down, relax it. Then we're going to bring it back up. Make sure our core is staying tight. We're not shifting side to side. Our low back is staying snug into the ground. And again, we're feeling a nice stretch on that hamstring. We're not feeling any pressure through our back. Next one, we're going to use a band. You can wrap that band around your foot. We're going to kind of do the same idea here. We're going to keep our legs straight on the ground, suck that lower back tight into the ground. We're going to bring our leg up as high as we can without compromising our hips or our core. So again, staying nice and tight through our midsection. Should feel a little stretch on that hamstring. And then we're going to kind of have a little tension in that band. And we're going to drive that foot down until it's about an inch off the ground, keeping our core nice and tight. And then we're going to slowly control it back up into that light stretch. For me, that's as high as I can get without it, my pelvis tilting and feeling a hamstring stretch. And we'll repeat that for about 10 to 15 reps. And then our last one is going to be a classic dead bug exercise here. So again, low back nice and tight. We're going to get our hips at 90 degrees so that we're getting a posterior pelvic tilt. Our head lays back. Our arms are up. What we're going to do is gently bring our left leg out, extended as our right arm comes up. Our pelvis should not tilt. Our low back should stay engaged into the ground. And then we'll come back up. We'll alternate sides, focusing in on that core strength. Make sure we stay braced. We are not concerned at all about hamstring mobility here. Shouldn't be an issue. Really just making sure that core stays nice and tight. Well done. If you crush these 5 tests, you're not just mobile, you're functional. Well done. And if you failed a few, like me, it's just we now know areas to work on. Get into some of those drills, start working on some of that flexibility, mobility, combine them with your strength, and we'll start seeing some improvements. Just remember, mobility without stability, it's not gonna last. We wanna have a long, healthy life. So make sure we're dialing in all of these different pieces. The longevity series is on a final wrap. If you haven't checked out the previous videos, do all your tests: balance, conditioning, relative strength, absolute strength. Know where your weaknesses lie, know where your strengths are, and where we need to train. Never settle with yesterday. Please comment, please like. Keep helping support this channel. I appreciate you all. Have a good one.